Welcome back to the wacky, wonderful Wiseworks podcast, everybody. All you guys, gals, geeks, and goofballs. Yeah.
Yep.
Am I missing something?
You're supposed to prompt conversation. That's the point.
Oh, conversation.
That's your job. Yeah, as the host, as the producer.
Joseph gave me a like he always be butting in. Like,
I had something to say, but I held it in. I held it in because
you're gonna upset your stomach if you hold it in.
All right, then I'm gonna let it out.
You're supposed to say,
if you talk about what I think you're gonna talk about, I'm gonna go to Florida and poke your belly.
Paladin Straight, the last song on the Clancy 21 Pilots album. The music video dropped.
We're gonna pivot.
I gotta say this thing was
Rogan.
off. Look, this. Well, first I want to just say this.
You're not allowed to talk about this.
I can do
Nobody
whatever
cares.
I want. This video was amazing. All right, and I'm pretty sure it was all volume stuff, but it was very high end production. Really,
that's really
fascinating.
Cool.
That's
you know what?
That's pretty awesome.
Both of you fools.
Hey man, why don't you maybe think of something to talk about that we can all kind of have an opinion on.
This was about production of a really awesome music video,
which neither of us have seen.
Finish off the story, right? Or in theory, finish off the story.
And how much of our audience have seen it?
A bunch.
Man, you got to be thinking about the fans.
I do, bro. Mm-hmm. I do. You guys don't lecture me about thinking about the fans.
Dude, I think about the fans all the time.
Don't think about the fans. Friggin' no.
I think about the fans nonstop.
All right. So Joshua wanted to talk about this Joe Rogan episode with Neuralink.
It's interesting. It's fun.
You're making it sound, Josh. You made it sound so interesting and fun.
The first guy with Neuralink testing went on Joe Rogan and talked about it. That's cool.
That's pretty crazy.
This is a great example.
Joe Rogan has such a long reach that he gets Neuralink stuff people on. That's cool.
Well, he's a normal dude who's on the testing. Like he's the guy who tests. Now, no, he's not the guy who tests.
I mean, I'll be honest.
He's being tested on, right?
Yes.
I'll be honest. I'm definitely interested in the Neuralink guy. I am less interested because it's Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, I get about as interested in Joe Rogan as I do in 21 Pilots.
Bro, you are wild.
No, seriously.
It's just because you haven't.
I
haven't caught the itch yet.
Well, it's not like I think he's like a bad source of information or anything. I just don't enjoy watching him.
Well, that's the thing.
I think he's kind of boring.
I'd rather have Joe Rogan interview somebody than CNN.
True.
You know?
Hey, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that.
So, just listening to a podcast with this guy, I trust Joe to do it.
I would rather have Joe Rogan interview anybody over anyone. He's the only one that gets down and dirty with it. You know what I mean? As far as the interviews go.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of times he sort of tries to match people's level of either enthusiasm or lack of enthusiasm. And maybe that's good sometimes. I don't think it's good all the time.
Yeah.
Wait, how is it not good? You're literally bringing to the table what the other person is.
If somebody has no idea what they're talking about, he just kind of goes along with it.
That's not true.
Yes, he does. I've seen him do it. He just goes along with whatever idiot something they're talking. He's like, "Oh yeah, no, you're right. No, yeah, that's."
He never
so
says. He never says you're right.
That's pretty crazy. Oh man,
no,
why? No, I've been thinking that exact same thing. That's pretty wild. That's pretty crazy.
He never says you're right. And I have listened to so much Joe Rogan. I know his tactics because he's transparent with his interview tactics. What he does is if he has on someone silly and they're not an expert in something, but they're just going to have a fun conversation, he lets them just say stuff. But you'll never catch him saying, oh, you're right. Like, you know what I mean?
I love how this has
Like,
become about Joe Rogan's podcast.
Friggin'
This is
listen,
nothing about the
Hey,
Neuralink.
I'm sorry that I don't enjoy
okay,
your like red pill guy.
if
Whatever.
he gets someone who's supposedly an expert, he will ask questions and challenge if he's heard something different. And that's
Mhm,
why he has Jamie. He always pulls it up. You know what I mean? He's
mhm.
always got he
Pull
can
it up,
always get
Jamie.
access to the correct information. And he never just, like, if someone's saying something wild, like he's had on quite a few recent episodes where there's just like a lot of question about like the origins of God or like the origins of the universe and stuff. And Joe's like, he constantly says, I don't know. So if someone is coming on and giving their input or their thoughts or their ideology about something, he's not going to sit there and be like, oh yeah, you're right about this. He never says you're right. He will let you talk and he
Maybe.
will give his own input and ideas to build on yours, but he's never over there saying you're right. He actually usually ends it with like, but what do I know? I'm an idiot. He always includes that caveat. I don't
Go
know
listen
what you're talking about, bro.
to the Neuralink episode. It's interesting because of Neuralink, not because of Joe Rogan.
Well, Joe Rogan asks all the right questions because this is a normal dude, right? That sat
Yeah.
down with him. That's being tested on. He's not normal because he's paralyzed in most of his body, but as far as his personality, he's a normal dude, right?
Yes.
And so he's not the kind of guy who's like podcasting or knows how to do interviews. So Joe pulls out the information that's interesting to hear about. And that's ultimately what he's good at. He's good at he's good at asking questions on behalf of the audience, right? Asking what the audience truly wants to hear, you know?
I mean,
Why he's just looking at me with questions in his eyes. I don't think you've consumed enough.
It's
He's
hard. I
interviewing
can't. Come on, Josh. Speak with your chest.
I want to speak about the actual episode, not about
Come on,
Joe Rogan.
get loud.
What is there to talk about?
Let's get loud.
They talked about it all in
It's
that episode.
interesting
Unless
that
we
he
pull up
talked to the
clips.
guy instead of like, go and talk to Elon Musk or some of these guys who are designing the
Well, he has.
Neuralink. Well, he's talked to Elon Musk, but
He's talked to Elon Musk a lot about Neuralink. I think it's interesting that since he did that, now he's talking to the guy who's having
guy who's
Neuralink
actually
tested on him.
Go listen to the episode. Let's move on from this segment. Let's talk about some Queen and Henry Cavill.
Queen? You mean the band?
Yes.
They
Okay.
Because Joseph
soundtrack
doesn't
to the
get this.
original Highlander.
He has not seen.
Here we are, born to be kings.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how the movie
Queen
opens. It's
Queen
actually
did the
really
original soundtrack for Highlander. Did you not know that, Joseph?
I did.
Oh,
know that.
it's an
It's
interesting
incredible.
fact. You should.
Have you
watch
not
the
seen
movie.
Highlander?
Yeah, it's like one of the best movies that has ever been made.
Have we done
It's
a
like-
movie commentary on Highlander?
No, but that's our next movie.
It sounds like that's what we need to do.
I mean, I would put it like, Highlander, Lord of the Rings. Yeah.
It's a super cheesy,
it's
high concept kind
cheddar,
of thing.
sharp. You could even throw some Velveeta in there.
Yeah,
but
it's good. It's like it's such a great concept, and it's so fun to watch.
Yeah.
So the news that we've already discussed is that Henry Cavill has been casted to play. Who's the lead character's name?
Connor
McClintock.
McLeod.
Connor McLeod.
McLeod.
Did you say McClintock?
I did say McClintock. I was thinking that it was something like that.
It's
Connor McLeod.
McLeod.
And so Henry Cavill has
name
left
McLeod.
The Witcher to play a new kind of swordsman. And he's going to be playing
a better swordsman.
Now, do you think? I think we've already discussed this, but what do you guys remember? What your guys' theories were about if they're going to keep the Queen in there?
I mean,
oh no,
probably not. I wouldn't mind a little homage. Maybe somebody's listening to some Queen on a.
They'll probably
radio
replace Queen
somewhere.
with like Post Malone.
Oh,
Ooh,
that would
I
absolutely
love Post Malone, but that would make me mad.
what
That would
makes
make me
this
mad.
such great 80s fantasy is
Well, we're not in the 80s anymore, sir.
listen, what makes this a good movie is its 80s fantasy.
Yeah,
And
the 80s.
80s fantasy was this interesting and strange mix of rock and roll,
Mhm.
Sci-fi.
lightning, and medieval warriors
Yeah.
for some reason. And they or barbarians, and they, you know, it's that image, right? With the shredding electric guitar and a dude on a hill with lightning hitting his sword, and
Yeah.
it says like Conan or something on it. It was this weird
Mhm.
mix, and the Highlander delivered on all of that. It gives you Queen, it gives you sword fights, it gives you lightning, just like somebody gets his head cut off and then lightning
Yeah,
everywhere.
like a
It's
preset
crazy.
of lightning that you could just overlay on some footage.
It
Be
gives you a
fantastic.
little love story in there, and so
Mhm.
that's what makes it great and interesting. How they'll do this for like a modern movie, I don't know. I don't know how it'll translate. It translated really well because of that 80s aesthetic.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, do you think it's you just don't have super high hopes for this?
No, I've got high hopes.
That's not what I'm saying.
Look,
I got
from
high
what you're
hopes.
saying, this is what you're saying is the 80s made the first one great.
Yes.
This is not in the 80s
This
anymore.
is not in the 80s. So they will
we can make
they
a
will need to do something to make it either really grounded or very 80s.
That's your only option.
We can
You either go real 80s style.
I say
we can make
go
like a Stranger Things Highlander.
go real grounded and
Mhm.
make it
Well,
as
Is this? I
make
thought
it
the
as
story was cheesy. If it's
it was
grounded,
it
then
was a cheesy movie. The story
Yeah.
is a really great story.
Mhm.
give a quick synopsis.
It's about a guy who becomes immortal because he's for some reason one of these people that when they are killed, they just come back. He doesn't know why. Nobody really knows why. They just know that they're part of essentially a game where they have to kill the other immortals.
Mhm.
And they
And
just keep
there's
coming back.
no. If you cut off an immortal's head,
They're
If
dead.
another immortal kills
if
the
you're
mortal.
immortal and you cut off another one's head, you gain all of their strength, wisdom,
Oh.
skills, knowledge, everything.
So you're just
And so you
collecting coins,
so you
essentially.
becoming more powerful until ultimately there's two left and they have all of the knowledge and information and skill of every immortal that has ever come before them that they've ever killed.
And they
Mhm.
duel to the death.
And they duel to the death, and then there's a
Yep.
prize at the end.
And wait, what prize?
It's like infinite knowledge, basically. Infinite knowledge and ability to help and create and, basically provide world peace type stuff.
So they're okay.
Or
okay.
become the greatest ruler, dictator, tyrant of all time.
Right. You're basically leveling up into God status.
You essentially become sort of like a deity.
Yeah.
Okay.
They don't specify what the power is. He's just like, I sort of know everything. And but
He becomes the three-eyed raven.
Yeah, you become the three-eyed raven. Yeah, so it's a great story. There's a love story in there. There's a lot about learning and
sword play.
sword fighting and remembering what it means to be human. Just great stuff. And if they bring all of that to the forefront, you can downscale the cheesiness. You can downscale
electric guitar
the electric guitar shredding.
But give us a little bit of cheese, like, as like a small topping. Don't give us like, a real thick layer of cheese. A little bit of topping.
Look, 2024 cheese is not nostalgic. 2024 cheese is just the power of one. You know what I mean? That it's not good. We don't need any cheese.
This is there can be only one.
One.
Okay, there's no
there
power.
Be only one.
There's no power of many.
There cannot be two.
There can be only one in this game.
Okay.
But I think really the best way to do this movie, just do the old movie again. Just do it again. Add some depth to the characters. Add some, some little bits. But the sword fight in the car garage, the battle in the tower with Sean Connery,
Yeah.
and ultimately the battle at the end.
I
Wait,
want
there's only 3 battles in this movie?
Those are the 3 big battles. There are a couple of other battles in there.
Oof.
So those are the 3 big ones.
Okay.
I just want like a good scene of, Henry Cavill like whisper in somebody's ear, "There can only be one," and then he like Daemon Targaryen just like slices the head off.
Yes.
That would be sick.
Absolutely, yeah. That's what has to happen.
Yeah. Okay. So this is good casting. This is going to be an exciting remake. At least the hopes is that it's exciting. The hopes is that it might be a little bit more grounded. And
I think
that they keep the magic from the first movie.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, I think the fans of this movie are such a wild card, and they're going to be happy with basically anything because it's a weird movie already.
Look,
so we're going to be happy, but just don't do us dirty, please.
Make the movie grounded. However, make the trailers cheesy. Open the trailers. The Queen should be playing during the trailer.
During the trailer?
Yeah.
All right. So this article that Joshua got for us is so there's a couple updates. So Highlanders just start filming in 2025. There's a good picture of Sean Connery, and
as the Spaniard.
I just want to mention, scroll up really quick, right above the picture. It's quotes Henry Cavill, I think, here.
All right. So we don't normally cover feature films or other projects of Witcher actors, but having sword fighting in medieval setting comes from Chad Stileski, and describes as John Wick with swords. Highlander seems rather interesting. Okay.
There's just a brief quote that they put in this article. I thought it was right there, but it's not. Where Henry Cavill just says,
oh yeah, if you've seen me do sword work before, you haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah, Henry Cavill's already practicing for it.
So one of the things about Highlander, especially the old one, is look, a lot of it was some of that Star Wars level sword fighting.
Yeah.
Okay.
The original trilogy.
Yes. So these guys, not even, and I'm not talking about like the third movie where Luke and Vader are really going at it with some excellent sword play.
Well, remember, was it Empire Strikes Back or was it Return of the Jedi where Luke does a completely unnecessary spin move?
Well,
remember that one?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Empire.
But what I'm saying is the original movie has some sword fights, but it wasn't like, oh, these guys are thousands of years old type sword fights. That's kind of, I think, what people want to see is you got 2 immortals left. They've been alive for thousands of years, maybe only hundreds of years, but have the knowledge and sword skill of thousands and thousands of years. The Kurgan, I know, is thousands of years old.
Right.
He's from before recorded history.
The before times.
And they're supposed to have all of this knowledge. I want to see sword fights that are Revenge of the Sith, Anakin versus Obi-Wan level. That's the kind of sword fighting we need to be seeing.
Well, real quick to give an example. So I know it's very stylized, but what about Dune? Like that fight between Paul Atreides and Fade Rotha. That was pretty well done.
That's
choreography.
Good. But
right?
That's knife. That's
knife fighting. It's a different style, but
completely different. We need to see the flourishing and the quickness of the Obi-Wan Anakin fight makes sense because of the Force. It would make sense here because of the thousands and thousands of years of knowledge.
Think about how powerful Anakin would have been if he didn't get all cut up and burned up.
Be pretty powerful. I think
Pretty
he's
dang.
yeah.
Pretty
But that's
dang.
hey man, that's what happens with the Sith.
Right.
So Stileski says our story engages a lot of the same characters and stuff like that. Good. But we also brought in elements of all the TV shows, which is really cool. There's a lot of stuff in the TV shows that I'm not familiar with. We'd have to get Ethan on. He watched all the shows.
We're trying to do a bit of a prequel setup to the Gathering.
Including,
So
Are
we
we,
have room to grow the property.
that's good because I
bringing
feel
in
like
some Highlander lore.
except for the Spaniard, like in the original movie, the Spaniard was kind of the exposition dump character.
Yes.
And we didn't get a lot of like explanation, so that would be fun.
In the movie, we see 5 immortals. We see Connor McLeod, the Spaniard, the Kurgan, the guy with the rapier at the beginning in the car garage, and we see Connor's friend that the Kurgan kills later. That's it. But if he's saying what I think he is, he's saying that they want to maybe do a series of movies because there's a lot you can tell with these characters.
And Chad, the director, he's made like it's going on 5 John Wicks.
Yeah.
So if this really pops off and he does a good job with it,
yeah,
they're gonna want to do some follow-ups.
Make some really cool stuff about immortals and about sword fights and about the Highlander. It's awesome. I want to see all of it.
So there's also rumors Joshua was saying about this character, Michael Fassbender.
Michael Fastblender.
Michael Fassbender, who plays in the recent Ridley Scott film, right?
Yeah, he's in a lot of things, playing the
killer.
Was that a Ridley Scott film?
Was
The
it
Killer?
Ridley Scott?
No,
that's freaking what? Who am I thinking?
I was like, you're right. He was in Prometheus and Alien Covenant.
You're right, he was, but no. Who did? I don't want to look it up because I know it.
Why does it matter? He's in a lot of things. He
played Magneto. He played Magneto in
like 5 movies.
Yeah, people know who Michael Fassbender.
David Fincher. What am I saying? David Fincher. So yeah, we know him.
He would be fun for it. Who do you want? They didn't say in this article why, but who do you want to play like the Spaniard?
Probably somebody Spanish from Spain.
Yeah,
maybe not Sean Connery.
No. What about
Antonio
like we could?
Well, look,
that's
I want
off of that, but
my thought was still lingering on Fassbender. The playing the Kurgan.
Yeah.
The Kurgan's an awesome character, but he is supposed to be like old world European Russian type. He's supposed to be big. The guy who played him last was huge. He's a big guy.
Yeah.
We need. I don't know that Fassbender is really.
I know who should play the Kurgan.
The big enough guy.
What's his name?
Big and tall.
Alan Richardson.
Yeah, Richardson.
Richardson.
I thought you were about to say Alan Rickman for a second.
No,
Alan Richardson. Alan Richardson should play the Kurgan.
Yeah,
that would be.
Pull up a picture of him.
He's the guy who plays Reacher. He's the guy who plays Reacher.
He plays Reacher. He's big. Cavill.
And he just did a film with Cavill, so they're on each other's mind.
I hate to say it. He's a
casting.
big guy, but he doesn't give me much emotions, and I know that's good for the Kurgan.
That would be great for the Kurgan.
Watch. I know it's real cheesy, but he does give emotions in Reacher.
Yeah, have you seen the? Did you see the Gentleman?
No, not yet. But I'm sure
I did see. You know, the Hunger Games Part 2, and he played one of the tributes in that.
Yeah, and if you've seen any of Blue Mountain State, then
did you know that?
Really?
He is extremely expressive in Blue Mountain State.
He played in the second movie where they bring back all the existing victors. He plays like the District 1
Yeah, the
victor.
big guy.
Oh, for real? I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
But no, you're right. That
But
would
he's
be
pretty young
incredible
there.
casting.
I didn't realize.
young.
Like Fassbender's good. Fassbender would be another great immortal, but I think Richardson and Cavill as the protagonist and antagonist.
Yeah.
That would be really awesome.
That
And
would
he
be
he looks like he could be old world
Russian,
like one of the
Definitely.
axe and knife men.
When I see him,
Bronze
I feel
Age,
like
dude.
he's the type of guy that just, gets up and takes his baby oil and just like puts baby oil on his skin every time he wakes up.
I did go ahead and follow him on Instagram because I'm like, look, as much as this guy's controversial with some of his political although he's a Christian, even some of his spiritual beliefs, right? I will say, I'm a fan.
Yeah, he's
I'm a fan
definitely
of
an interesting guy.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of Alan Richardson. So that would be better casting for.
But I mean, acting wise,
I'm not
Fassbender,
mad
I know
at
Fassbender can do it.
Fassbender.
I just know that one of the things about the fight is Connor is not nearly as big as the Kurgan, and that makes it awesome. It's Luke versus Vader.
Well, yeah, but
know?
Henry Cavill, it's hard to find anybody as big as Henry. Henry's big.
That's the
Alan
thing.
is.
That's
Alan
the thing.
is.
Alan's bigger than Cavill.
Yeah.
So
Alan's
if you got a big guy like
Cavill.
Cavill going up against Fassbender's definitely smaller than Cavill. But
Yeah,
if you got him going up against Rich,
Henry lost weight for this role, like to get smaller.
Oh no, please don't.
No, we're trying to be cooler here, not less cool.
And he's gonna be. They're probably gonna show him a lot more as part of Clan MacLeod.
Mm-hmm.
So,
oh yeah, probably
he'll be shirtless a lot.
Tell me,
Probably.
So if you guys were to sum up, kind of like in one word, what's like the vision for this remake? What's so taking the original Highlander? I know you talked about like capturing the magic of the first film, but if they were to do like they're adding lore to this, they're
not adding.
What's like the one they're including, right?
Yes, from a couple of different sources,
capitalizing on the lore that they give. So number one, the Gathering, where as time goes on, immortals are drawn close and closer to each other to eventually fight. That's the Gathering. As
right.
As time moves into the modern age. And then I want to see all of the years of immortals. I want to see, more interactions. I want to see what exactly this is what I want. I want to kind of, maybe not exactly. I don't want it explained that much, but I want a little bit more of the quickening is what it's called. The quickening is kind of the powers of the immortals. Like when they sense another immortal. Like and sense them. They don't need to eat. They don't need to sleep. They're basically vampires. And then when they cut off another one's head and they absorb all of their knowledge and everything, I want to know maybe a little bit more about that. But I really want them to just.
What's the word? What's the one word? So like if you like. Cool,
bring
or what is it?
Elements together, right? Tell the story in a linear fashion that gives all of that does the lore justice.
Okay, but you're thinking about the execution of the story. I'm talking about the vibe. What's the vibe that they need to go after? Because you're talking about
80s.
Henry
80s.
Cavill. Henry Cavill's gonna be like shirtless. You know what I mean?
Oh, I think. Well, I think
the vibe.
I mean, he doesn't have to be shirtless. Actually, the medieval Scotsmen were not shirtless.
I mean, I want just if you're gonna do anything, a makeup artist, lots of baby oil. Lots of baby oil. No, I want it to. It's
you can't really do the cheese these days. I want it to take itself really seriously.
So go serious. That's like the word.
Go
Serious.
real serious.
Serious, man. That's the word you want.
Make it part fantasy, part historical drama.
So less trying to just be cool and more about trying to take itself seriously.
Yes.
So don't. So like,
or go John Wick with it and make it fantasy. So
right.
you can't have you can't find a middle ground with this. You need to either go all out and make it like John Wick, one or the other. Figure something out and do it well, is my opinion.
Yeah.
I think John Wick might not be the right tone for this. They could make it work, but I think it's the wrong tone. Definitely.
Well, I think it's not. Don't do John Wick, but in the sort of fashion that, you know, John Wick is about like assassins, you know, and they've kind of built this world around
assassinations,
right? Where it's like you walk on the street and every other person's potentially an assassin.
You don't know.
That's the kind of level of fantasy that they could take this, is, you know, but do it with immortals.
Sure. Yeah. Man,
So,
I gotta say, the John Wick vibe is so cool. Not just with the fighting and everything and the assassins, but like even the ladies who work the office. You know what I mean? They just got like their really fancy, good looking outfits, and they got just tons of tattoos and stuff. Like, so freaking cool. John Wick's universe is.
Yeah, they're supposed to be. Everybody's supposed to be hardcore. Even the ladies who are doing that kind of stuff, everybody's hardcore.
Sending
like
faxes.
everybody's a biker, everybody's a Russian assassin, everybody's something, right?
I like it. I want to build a company that's like that, dude.
They can do that with this, you know. They can do that with this. Make all of the immortals are kind of just absolutely
hardcore. Here's
hardcore.
a real question. Was there an immortal lady in the original movie?
They didn't show one.
Yeah, they didn't.
They referenced one though,
in the
right?
show. In the show, there's plenty of immortal ladies.
I know for sure they're gonna bring an immortal lady into this.
Well,
So,
I mean that's fine.
They're probably gonna have Henry Cavill fight an immortal lady.
Or well, he'll definitely kill that immortal lady.
Well, yeah, of course, because
they'll have
spoilers
relations
for everybody. He's the one.
Well, Connor,
Connor.
I don't know how because there is a sequel to the movie, and it kind of breaks the lore. It retroactively. That's why I didn't watch any of the shows or the movies, because they kind of retroactively make the first movie worse.
Okay.
And so, you know, something about the second one breaks the lore and everything, where it's like the gathering is still happening. It's like, well, how can that be? There's no other immortals, but
unless there's a new generation of immortals.
No, what this should ultimately be is a series of movies that leads up to the final gathering.
Right. And the quickening, is that kind of like the god force that causes that makes the humans the immortals.
It's
right?
it causes the desire to seek out other immortals.
Yeah. So the quickening is kind of the game player, you know, or the game master.
I like the way you put it. It's kind of the god power.
Right. The god power, but it's also what you mentioned earlier, that they're playing a game. You know what I mean? And so who's the game master? It's the quickening, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It's the quickening. Cool. I'm looking forward to it. I
am too. Should I? Dude, I guess I have to watch the first one before this comes out. But
yeah,
they're not starting to shoot till next year. I have plenty of time.
I think a movie commentary on this would be really good, and I think getting somebody like the John Wick director, who is good at, you know, making things serious but also really kind of fantasy.
It's gonna be fun.
That'll be fun. Let's do it. I'm ready.
When I move in a couple weeks, will you guys come up to my place and we record watch party?
Yeah.
Go down in my basement.
Well, I'll do one.
Do a watch party of this thing.
Heck yeah, dude.
I'm thinking about, in my basement, I'm thinking about getting a projector.
Ooh.
So I can throw like a nice projector at some point, so I can throw up like a big projection screen onto like a wall and just watch movies down there if I want to. I got these nice speakers. I can hook them up onto some kind of player and just have really nice speakers with a big projector down there. You know, just dreams and wishes, hopes and dreams. But I can fulfill these. Mm-hmm. Joshua, don't you have a projector, Joshua?
No.
Oh, you just have a
couple big TVs. Projector, Joshua.
Projector.
Yeah, but I guess that's Highlander. Let's thank the YouTube paid member, Pamela
McGovern.
Sure.
Pamela McGovern.
Gosh, he does this and it sounds so demeaning.
Sure, I'm sorry, Pamela.
Like he doesn't believe that what you just said was the truth. Yeah, Pamela McGovern. Yeah.
Well, sure. Joshua said Pamela because he doesn't know how to pronounce her last name. First off,
McGovern.
And sure. I say McGovern, and then Josh was like, screw you. Sure. Maybe.
Sure, maybe.
I don't mean to downgrade your name.
It's like, maybe.
Well, first off, I was trying to help you.
Maybe
I was trying to give you the last name, and you degrade me. You're like, all right. Freaking this attitude.
Thank you, Pamela McGovern. Mm-hmm. We do appreciate
that is in fact her name.
Your support. Yes. We do appreciate
just in case Joshua confused you. Look, she's awesome. She supports us over on YouTube memberships. It's only $3.99 a month. She gets podcasts early, a week early. She gets the exclusive pre-show. She gets watch parties as if we were just alluding to. You know what I mean? And also, we got so many plans and ideas as we continue to build this out. Look, the Patreon and the memberships are going to be very important to the future of this channel.
Yeah, get in early.
It might be the soul of the future of this channel, honestly.
Get on the ground floor.
Get on the ground floor. It's super cheap. You won't even notice it because it's cheaper than a cup of Starbucks coffee these days. It's definitely cheaper than a cup of the hipster coffee that you go to the local coffee shop to get. And you're like, hey, I'm supporting local. Good for you. If you support us, you're also supporting local internet and local YouTube channel. And we're cheaper than local coffee. It's only $3.99 a month.
Yeah,
it's only $3.99.
You know, I've noticed recently everybody's paying for subscriptions, right? Everyone wants you Netflix and Amazon and everything, and what you're paying for is for them to bring you subpar content, half the time, and then sometimes some good stuff.
Whereas most of the good stuff is on HBO Max, and we have to usually wait like how long? 6 to 9 months.
Yeah.
6 to 9 months for anything good to come out.
Yeah, not 6 to 9.
Yeah.
But if you pay for our stuff, then you're helping create. And you're helping create the content. You're building the content that you want to see.
Right?
Isn't that more fun?
It's more exciting. Also, your name gets in the content. Your name's either you get a shout out in the podcast or your name's on the credits of the video, so people know, hey, you're tied to this content. You're here.
Tied to this community. You're building it.
You're not just like in the background creating. You're in the video. Your name. So, and that's something you could send to your parents and be like, "Look, Mom, look what I'm doing." And all you have to do is just support us. $3.99 a month.
Yeah, tell your mom.
Just like
tell your mom.
Just like Pamela McGovern. Thank you for being a supporter of us on YouTube. Patreon links in the description if you prefer that. So,
why's my forehead so shiny?
Are you guys? So you're not going to let me talk about 21 Pilots at all this episode?
No, please don't.
No.
You're not curious?
I beg of you. I beg of you.
No, we don't care.
Please. But here's why. Here's why.
I beg of you.
Here's why. It's because we will sit here and be like, as you talk and about 21 Pilots, and look, I love your enthusiasm.
No, you don't.
Never
you
doubt.
hate it.
I love your enthusiasm.
You hate it.
But it's not as fun, I feel like, for the viewer if you're talking and we're just sitting here like, and we can't even respond. We'll be like,
here's the thing.
We'll be like, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Here, this is how I see it. Is we just talked for like 30 minutes straight about Highlander.
Yeah.
There's going to be a handful of people that watch this. It's never
Some
seen
video
Highlander, myself
content.
included.
Our movie production, where YouTube, where we talk about movies, we're not allowed to talk about a movie.
I'm trying to talk about the production in a music video. First off,
Yeah, but I mean, if it's just you talking about it,
yeah.
but I
Make your
talked
own
about
video.
Highlander with you fools and showed so much interest for 30 minutes straight.
You did an
Hey, have
amazing
you guys heard about Blade? They're doing a new Blade. Have
Hold
you heard
on, no,
about
hold
that?
on. We're not moving on just yet. Hold on. You did, and you showed interest because it's an interesting topic that we can all talk about.
I can't talk about it. I literally asked questions so I could learn.
Right,
and
but
understand.
we can't talk about 21 Pilots because we're not interested in 21 Pilots.
I wasn't interested until Highlander until the end of our 30-minute conversation. Now I'm interested. That's the point of the conversations.
It's
Maybe
not
at the
same.
end of a 5-minute.
It's not the same.
It is the same.
It's not the same. No, it's not.
It's the same. It's
No,
just
it's not.
you are
It's
stubborn.
movie and production content versus music video content.
Music video production content.
Yeah, for a band that neither of us are
It's
like
not just
listening
production.
to and enjoying.
It's telling a narrative story across 4 albums.
That's awesome. Make a video about
5 albums at this
it.
point.
Make a separate video about it.
I don't want to make a whole video
That's
about
great.
it.
Awesome. Make a separate video about it.
I want to talk to my friends about my interests and enjoyments and things I'm excited about.
I'm not trying to downplay. I'm trying to be honest with you. We're not going to give you the kind of interaction that you need. You're just going to be talking about
it for me.
No, not anymore. I'm sorry.
Not anymore. I would be willing to argue you never have.
I've tried.
No, you haven't. No, you haven't.
Not anymore.
I'm not trying to break your spirit here.
It's broken. Consider me busted.
Let's move on to Blade.
Blade is doing another Fantastic Four. What do you mean by that?
Yeah.
I love that he asks himself, what do you mean by that?
What do you mean by
What
that?
do you mean by that? So let me pull up this article real quick.
Sorry. Where's the article at? There it is. Oh, I'm at the bottom of the article.
Yeah, so it looks like they've lost another actor. And
they also lost the director recently, right?
Yeah. And so
it sounds like they don't have a movie anymore.
Is Jake Gyllenhaal gonna play Mr. Fantastic or not? We don't know.
Jake Gyllenhaal gonna play Blade?
Yeah, maybe that'll work out better.
No, we would have an uprising.
Let's
in
just
Hollywood.
Get Wesley Snipes back, and it'll just be like it'll be like a 4th movie. And
look, I don't mind. I don't mind this actor. What's his name?
Well, who was it that they lost first
Mr. Fast Blender?
Aaron Pierre?
Aaron Pierre.
Was that it? Wait, so Hollywood by reported another one of the cast members who was appearing alongside Marshall in the title role has abandoned ship. Lindo joins former co-star Aaron Pierre, director Yang Demenge, previously director. Yeah. Oh, so they've lost 2 directors since they originally announced and cast and hired the directors. They've lost both of them. Now they've lost Aaron Pierre. Who's going to be an actor in the show, right? Or in the film.
Man, I love Blade so much. It's so sad. I love Mahershala. I think it's a strange pronunciation. Mahershala Ali. He's a great actor. He was the best part of the first half of the first season of Luke Cage on Netflix, and he's been really good in other stuff he's been in. It seemed like a great casting, but honestly, if I were him, I'd be getting out.
Where have I seen this guy before? Aaron. Do I know him?
He's hitting you with one of.
Oh. That looks like a book. That looks like a book photo when you open it up and there's the inside slat.
Why is he trying to rizz me up in this picture?
Yeah, bro.
Why is he trying to get my number?
I feel.
What
What's
has he been in?
one where he's wearing? Oh, scroll up a tiny bit. Wow.
What?
The one where he's wearing a white, right down one.
This dude look hella
Oh,
gay.
yeah. Click on that. I think I've seen that. Is that something that I've seen?
Hold on.
Aaron Pierre joins the cast of MCU's reboot.
What was that?
That's from Old.
Is it?
Old.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Old. So M. Night Shyamalan's Old film. So he was in that.
Yes.
That's probably where I've seen him before.
This dude wears eyeliner for show.
No, he's like that one dude who just looks natural.
No.
Yeah, this guy's not wearing eyeliner. No. That dude just has dark features. Just dark feature, bro.
He just said like
You're really getting a giggle out of this.
These are like the gayest photos I've ever seen. And gay dudes don't take photos this gay. Look at him. He's like,
bro's trying to be hard in Hollywood.
he's just mogging.
What is hard in Hollywood? What is that? What's the term for like that's a contrasted idea or that doesn't work?
I don't know, but hard in Hollywood is not a great.
It's
Way of-
definitely not where you.
I'm telling you, these are ideas like hard and Hollywood. You can't put them together.
Oh, it's an oxymoron.
Oxymoron.
It's something that directly contradicts.
Exactly.
itself. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Hard in Hollywood is an oxymoron. That's what I was trying
I like
to
Right.
say.
No, hard in Hollywood.
Yeah, you got to be soft in
That's funny.
Hollywood.
You're not only soft, you're betas.
This dude's definitely. I mean, he's clearly like a very physically fit and muscular, kind of traditionally like masculine looking dude. But dang, these photos are soft photos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are some soft photos, my dude.
All right. So let's get back to this article. So let's see. So you wanted to point this out, right, Joshua?
Well, I was just gonna while we're talking about it, they're changing a lot of stuff. Like actors are leaving, they don't want this. They're changing stuff to where originally their idea for Blade was like a 1920s almost old Blade movie. And then they scrapped that because they're like,
Which would be cool.
it would.
All right, you got a
fun.
Blade fan on board with that idea. Why are you on board with that, Wyatt?
Okay.
Look, I think that would be awesome. It would be kind of cool to tell this story in the same way that they told something like Highlander.
Okay.
Where it takes place in the modern era with Blade.
Yeah.
But also you go way back in time and you're telling a story that took place in the 1920s also with
Blade.
And just sort of contrast the two. And
Okay.
I'm not saying mystery box. I don't want a mystery, but mystery box kind of the stuff that happened in the past and reveal it in the future. That's how these stories are typically told with old characters or immortal characters and stuff like that.
I have a quick question. It's more about Marvel than it is about Blade specific, but since Blade is a potential future project of Marvel, after seeing The Acolyte, right, and all the lore breaking that Star Wars is willing to put out, what are your hopes that they're not going to do? I know they've already kind of done a lot of nonsense, like Echo was the most recent thing, I think. Nobody liked it. I think they did it. Did they take it off Disney Plus? Is Echo gone or is it still there?
They took something off of Disney Plus.
Yeah.
I don't remember what
something was taken off of Disney Plus. But what are your thoughts? Do you think that as big of a mess up and boring show that The Acolyte is, I feel like it's reached new heights. Do you think that's on the horizon for Marvel?
It's already here. It's
Marvel's done something as bad as Acolyte.
Yeah, the Marvels. The
movie,
Marvels was their worst thing, I believe. When it comes to this should be an easy home run.
Mm-hmm.
It should be just a quick, just such an easy layup with this movie. Just make Blade kind of do what they did in the first Blade movie. Have it be fun. Have him fight vampires. Is that so difficult?
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't be.
No, it's not that difficult, but I think that honestly, I think they just got rid of everybody who knew how like a story works, because everybody they're hiring didn't study storytelling in college. They didn't freaking learn anything. They learned activism, and that's everybody that's working right now. So they don't know how to tell a story.
That's, so they're not getting anything productive. They don't know how to tell this story. And so it's been 5 years essentially since they announced this, or 6, and people are leaving. Right. People are like, this isn't happening. This isn't getting made. I have other stuff that I want to do.
Right. And also let's keep in mind, so like at Disney, a lot of these people haven't been there very long, right?
Mm-hmm.
And almost all of these, they're either white guys who are like into the finance side of the company. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not really running the creative stuff.
Well, all the creatives are SJWs,
Yeah. Well, it's
and none of them know how to tell a story.
hires.
Yeah, but none of them know how to tell a story.
Social
Justice Warriors.
Oh, did you see the somebody got an interview with somebody from, I think it was Disney or Star Wars. I don't know if he knew he was being filmed, but he was like,
yeah, I saw that.
Oh yeah, he was like, there's discussions about,
he said
hiring,
there are some projects where
not
it's
hiring,
like,
yeah.
He basically
straight
said,
white dudes.
He said there's certain projects where there's no chance we're going to hire a white guy. And he said, do you say that in like, is that an unspoken thing? Like that's like an unspoken, like there's not a chance. He's like, sometimes it's spoken.
Sometimes it's spoken. We just say we're not hiring a straight white guy.
He said there's no chance we're hiring a straight white guy for some of these projects.
That was pretty wild to me. That I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's, obviously that's not an issue with Blade. Blade is not a white dude.
So yeah, they shouldn't have as much politics there.
So what they're saying is, like, let's just statistically say 4% of all humans are not straight, and
that can't be a correct statistic.
It's pretty low. That's not right. It's pretty low though. Like we think it's a lot more because it's being pushed in our face, but like the people who actually aren't straight white guys it's pretty low statistically. And what you're saying is they're the only ones they're not getting hired. So we're only hiring like 5%, whatever the statistic is, of all human beings for these.
Oh yeah, it's all
Hollywood
people. It's all California people.
Yeah.
Okay, so according to this is a Google search real quick to answer that question, Joshua. According to a 2022 Gallup poll, right? 7.6% of the U.S. adults identify as LGBTQ+.
Okay, but that's still really low compared to
that's so low.
Overall, we're only
apparently 20.8% of Generation Z is identifying as that, where 10.5% of millennials identify as that.
Right.
But it's still at 7.6% of adults identify, which that's kind of a catch-all, because literally LGBTQ plus includes bisexual, which there's like a lot of people that's like, I'm living a straight life, but I don't know, maybe. I've heard a lot of people recently talking about, I'm bisexual, but it's like, but you're living like a straight person. You're married and have kids to the opposite gender. They're like, but if I wasn't, maybe I'd be different. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's invalid at this point. You're living a straight life,
Yeah. So, but I mean, regardless of the identity politics that we know is happening, they don't know what to do with this film. They don't know what to do. They've rewritten it several times. I think at one point it wasn't even about Blade. It was about Blade's daughter.
Yeah, sounds on point.
and at one point it's like the 1920s.
Mhm.
I want this to either
It doesn't-
never happen
it
or
needs to be
be the
simple.
next Madam Web.
It needs to be simple, dude.
It's-
It needs to be what? Okay, so but you
Eventually
don't
it'll
even
get
want it to
made.
work.
I don't even want it to happen. I don't want it to come
Eventually
out.
it'll get made.
But
Please
you don't
don't
want
ever-
it to be good either, because you said either it doesn't happen.
Oh, I'd
or
love it.
it's
I'd
the
love
next
for
Madam
it to
Web.
be good. But there's no chance that it will be good.
Right.
Not
There's
even
not
a, not
there's
even
not
a
a hope.
not even a glimmer.
Well, hold on. We are not sure because there's quite a bit of hope for Deadpool right now, right?
That's completely different.
Sort of. It's still under Marvel though. And Marvel's like a little hands off about the whole thing because they sort of understand that if they get, I don't know why. Now maybe Deadpool 3 is going to absolutely be horrible, but
Deadpool
and
has
Wolverine.
Deadpool has branded itself as being like, an R-rated kind of comedy superhero type genre. So if Marvel takes that away, they know they won't make money.
Well,
They know they won't make money.
I think they're dumb enough to think that they will still.
No, I think there is.
You don't
probably
think there's
some
conversations about like no LGBTQ jokes, none of that. You can insinuate.
Deadpool has been like they've been pretty open with LGBT stuff, even in the
talk
second
about
one.
jokes. Talk about real.
It won't be
raunchy
about
jokes
that.
about
It'll be Marvel jokes.
But that's what I'm saying.
talking-
Is for sure they say they put up boundaries for Deadpool and say you can't write jokes about
they
this.
definitely have, but I'm saying that the head of the creative team for Deadpool is not the creative team for Blade. The
Right.
people who are creating Deadpool, I think Marvel's probably given them a little bit more leniency because Deadpool needs to be Deadpool.
Right. You're right. You're right. But I think that's probably, it's not the creative team. You're right. But I'm just saying, I don't think Marvel is not micromanaging certain projects.
Oh, I mean, probably, yeah.
So all that to say is, if there's hope with them still micromanaging, because they're definitely still micromanaging Deadpool, it's just a different type of movie, so they're not micromanaging it in certain ways, but they're still micromanaging it. If
I don't think
hope for Deadpool 3, couldn't there be hope for Blade?
No, people are leaving the project.
That's just because it's been delayed for so long, and they can't. It's like the Guillermo del Toro leaving The Hobbit. It's like if you never get around to production, and you're just in pre-production for half a decade, then you have to eventually leave because you have other stuff you actually have to do.
Yeah, it's not going to get made. I don't think it's going to.
It's not ever happening.
I think it'll get made, but it's gonna be a while still, and it's gonna be like a Madam Web. I would agree. It's not gonna be great.
It has to get made. They have the logo. See, they made the logo. It has to be made now.
They have this poster that looks very much like the Marvel or the Netflix Deadpool. Not Deadpool, Daredevil.
Right.
Almost exactly like the Daredevil thing.
Didn't they tease Blade at some point? When did they tease Blade in a recent project?
It was the last time was Eternals.
You
hear Mahershala Ali's voice as Kit Harington looks at the black blade, the black sword.
Right.
But no, I'd have been stoked if this was like, oh, we got the dudes who made season 1 of Daredevil, Netflix Daredevil.
They're out
to
of
make
Hollywood,
Blade,
bro.
dude. I'd have been like, okay.
That they ridded themselves of anyone who knows how to tell a story, or they nerfed them hardcore.
They nerfed them
to where they don't know how to tell a story no more.
That was good, but then they just ruined it in the Hawkeye show.
Yeah. Oh man, Daredevil showed up in Echo.
I don't mean
know
that. Yeah, I think I didn't watch Echo, but I heard about it.
Yeah, he showed up in Echo. That's wild.
It shouldn't be that way.
And She-Hulk.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. He did show up in
I feel
She-Hulk.
like
Yeah,
I
but
feel
that
like
was a
Dare
courtroom. I feel like I had to, right? He
Yeah.
had to show up if it's courtroom stuff.
Daredevil is this character that we almost thought Deadpool was going to be, of this character that just shows up in movies, but it's not like a prominent character, just like guy has a cameo. Almost like we want, like Stan Lee used to be when he was still alive. He just showed up in like this small scene. We wanted that to be Deadpool, but it's kind of what Daredevil is now.
Yeah, and it's not a good way of doing it.
No.
Okay, I'm not even going to get into this. I don't know enough about the comic book lore of Marvel, and I do think it is a bit scattered. I don't think there's concrete lore in Marvel like there is concrete lore in like Star Wars or Lord of the Rings, right?
Well, concrete. Saying Star Wars lore is concrete is
it's a lot
that's
more
pretty
concrete
wild.
than Marvel. A lot more concrete than Marvel.
Yeah, well, I mean they've redone Marvel a couple of different times and have
What-
a lot of like different stuff. What's
What
up?
show is or any IP is not is concrete at this point, because even
Tolkien
well, I was about to say even Rings of
Rings of
Power
Power
is
is
we
not
being
talking
lore.
about.
changed.
No, Rings of Power is not lore.
But it's
Okay.
being made.
But
It's being made.
It doesn't
It's
matter.
tainting what's come
It's not.
before.
They're spending hundreds of millions of dollars on a nothing burger because it's not lore. It's just not, and it's never going to be accepted as lore. It's not lore. They have the one.
It's not. Oh, okay. The only one doing it right now is House of the Dragon.
Right, sort of.
They're the
yeah.
only. They're the only ones kind of saying lore consistent with with the universe, with the books,
With House of the
shows.
Dragon, they have to add a good bit because there's not a lot to the books, to these stories.
Yeah, they got to add or subtract, and that's fine as long as they remain consistent with the world.
Yes.
Yeah, just give us like a couple years if they ever make like a Jon Snow or all these other shows that they're
Dunkin' Egg.
teasing or wanting to do. Just give
Jon
us
Snow is not
years.
is not. I think did they cancel Snow?
Yeah, they canceled it, but they talked about making it. So
if they that wasn't even, there's not a book for that, so there would be completely made up, right?
I know, that's what I'm saying. If they do end up making another show, then we'll start seeing the inconsistency.
So no, you can't say that Lord of the Rings is consistent because they're currently making a show that's breaking the lore.
Yeah.
No, I can say it's consistent because there's nobody. Look, the lore exists according to the original author and the fans. It doesn't exist to who owns the rights right now.
No, but your original question was who's making a show that's lore consistent, not Lord of the Rings.
That wasn't that. What? That's not. I was asking what story has concrete lore. I'm not saying
No,
what
that's
show.
not what you said.
That's
you said
you were
what
saying.
show? You said what
I
show
was
is
saying
being made
what-
that where the lore is
Okay,
concrete.
well then I must have misspoke because I was asking
did.
what
You
story.
did misspoke.
I did misspoke. What story has
That's all
concrete
why I
lore?
wanted to hear was you say that you misspoke.
Just say that you misspoke.
Wyatt-
Just admit it.
Wyatt,
Freaking know it all.
Anything else we want to talk about regarding Blade?
no, let's
Other than that,
leave
there's
this
no hope
Blade
on the
where it
horizon.
lies, and
It's there. There's no hope.
They're
here.
ice skating uphill. That's what they're doing.
yeah.
Yep. So
that's what all of Disney's doing.
before we get to the last topic, I'd like to bring up a couple things.
Okay, as long as it doesn't involve 21.
No, I've tried that. I've tried it twice.
I tried that.
So first off, you guys heard there was Sir Ian McKellen went to the hospital this past week. Did you see
Mhm.
that?
Yes.
Didn't see that actually.
He took
I
a
did see that.
tumble.
He took a fall. He fell. Not to make light of the situation, but he fell.
The internet went on the memes instantly. It's like, so I think it was during a stage play or during a filming of something. He fell and it was a pretty bad fall, and so they took him to the hospital. We don't really. I don't think we have an update. I'm sure by the time this comes out, there might be an update, but there's also other news that Donald Sutherland,
Yeah,
he passed away this past
passed
week.
away at like 88.
Oh,
Which
for
really
real?
sucks because I
Yeah.
really
President
wanted
Snow?
to. Yeah,
Mhm.
President Snow and
Mr. Snow.
he's a lot more. He's also plays Mr. Darcy, right?
Mm-hmm.
On a really good film.
Yeah.
Pride and Prejudice. But yeah,
He's
Donald
been in a
Sutherland has
number of
passed
really good
away.
films.
Wait a minute. Does he really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he plays Mr. Darcy. No, not Darcy. He plays the father,
He
Mr.
played,
Bennett.
he plays Mr. Bennett, the
Okay.
dad.
Yes.
He plays
yes.
the father of the girls. But he also plays on a lot of stuff, right? He was an old actor. And that it's kind of unfortunate because I was like thinking honestly this past week before I heard the news that he died, I was thinking about like if they're going to do more Lord of the Rings movies, right? And they're talking about when I heard about the accident with Sir Ian McKellen, and then we had talked about who would be good casting and different stuff for more Lord of the Rings stories, movies. I was literally thinking about like, okay, so who would play like Saruman, right? Who would play a good Saruman replacement for Christopher Lee? And I actually thought this past week Donald Sutherland, and then a few days later, he died. So it's really unfortunate because what do you guys think? Do you think he could have played a really interesting recasting?
He would have been a great wizard.
Saruman, right?
He would have been a great Saruman, yeah.
And he doesn't look like Christopher Lee, but he's got the old man, nice beard, the right frame to be able to play like a recasting of Saruman. He's got the acting chops to be able to play a really good Saruman. I felt like he would have been a really good recast for Christopher Lee if they have to bring someone back in. But now that's not that won't be the case. But I just wanted to bring that up. That is some pretty big news, and he also was a really great great actor. You know, so wanted to pay some respects. It seems like, man, kind of seems like we're right on the precipice.
Precipice of
precipice. Next thing we know, like Michael Caine's going to be dying, and
they're
Ian
old,
McKellen's
man.
not going to make it. He's not going to make it to another Lord of the Rings project.
I just saw a video the other day of Morgan Freeman walking a red carpet, and I was like, man, he looks old. Morgan Freeman is
older than he's looked his entire life.
Yeah, he's always
kind of looked 60.
He's still rocking those earrings. He's got he has 2 earrings on and a black suit, and I'm like, man, he still looks good.
He's always been the only, in my opinion, like older actor that's been able to work the earrings.
Yeah,
because he's full of riz, bro.
I love
risen out of control.
I love Morgan Freeman, and so I'm not saying this in a negative way. I love the stuff that he's done, but he's not the guy who's going to be playing Blade. He's not his face compared to like the guy who's playing Blade. It's always kind of looked a little bit, not symmetrical. He's got his imperfections, but we still love Morgan Freeman for who he is.
He's so recognizable. I think is incredible, and his performances have always been really incredible.
Also, his narration work and his voice is going to transcend time. It's going to be popular for the next 100 years, right?
Oh yeah.
So Morgan Freeman's voice, obviously, it's been duplicated by other humans and AI and software that literally is on the internet that you could find to get a good narration of Morgan Freeman. So
can we?
It's very few people will have the legacy, the fame and legacy of Morgan Freeman.
Very few, dude. Very few. It's going to be a big deal when he passes away. And unfortunately, he keeps raising the flag about constantly making racism an issue in Hollywood, and no one's listening. They're just like, okay.
Nobody's listening to him.
He's been raising that flag for like 2 decades. He's like,
stop.
If we stop talking about it, it goes away. Everybody, if we stop talking about it, it goes away. Hey, stop referring to you as a white man, and I'll stop referring to you as a white man. You stop referring to me as a black man. I'm Morgan Freeman. How do you do? And no one's listening to him. Freaking, he's sounding the bell, and he's not going to be here to sound the bell forever.
Give us your best Morgan Freeman impression real quick.
Why it's the best at this. We've done this tons of times.
I haven't.
Well, you got the flatness.
Just say like
you have the flatness.
Give us a narration of like Once Upon a Time.
No,
Once Upon a Time. I don't know. I don't got it. Once Upon a Time. I can't do it.
I got nothing.
I don't remember the exact line from
Shawshank.
But he's like, he crawled through 423,000 feet of the worst, most nastiest Disgusting diatribe imaginable. That's the length of 14 football fields, a baseball field, and a little league court.
It's definitely not right. But that's funny.
It's tough to do a good Morgan Freeman impression, but
oh yeah,
Right.
everybody's got one.
I also wanted to, I don't have one. I did want to also bring up, you know how a couple weeks ago you were talking about that really awesome quote that Mel Gibson says from The Patriot?
Mhm.
I saw it like literally 2 days ago. I saw a reel with the clip from that where he's hiding behind the trees like, Lord, make me fast
Lord,
and
make me
accurate.
fast and accurate.
That's the best prayer I've ever heard in cinema. Lord,
I
make me
think
fast and accurate.
I think about it like pretty often when I'm trying to do something that takes a little bit of finesse. I'm like, Lord, make me fast and accurate.
Yeah. What did you say the other day? You said that to something.
Yeah, I was on the podcast. He said he brought it up, and he's like, "Make me fast and accurate." And then you were asking, like, "What's that from?" You were giggling your little booty off.
I don't remember what we were referencing, but
It's such good stuff.
It's
though.
such a good line, and it applies to so much.
Yep. So Joshua, you had something for us to move on to.
So I'm sending this to Wyatt right now. I hadn't previously. Oops. I hope I send it right.
Oops. Wait, how come you didn't put it in the slides so that we can read it from here? We have to read it off our phones.
Yeah, and are there slides?
It's text. I don't know how. I don't know how I could have done that. Go to my slides because I generated these cool looking.
Oh, those are pretty sick.
Okay, so tear it off, Joshua. You're showing us pictures. What are we talking about here?
So I a couple weeks ago, I showed Wyatt this already, but a couple weeks ago, I was thinking about, I think I've talked about this on the podcast before, where I just roughly came up with an idea for a Godfather type script where it's not so much about the Godfather. It's about this gentleman who has to go and get permission from the Godfather to get revenge on his brother.
Yeah.
So
just a little scene, if you will, reminiscent of a Godfather scene.
Right. So I did once, and I had this idea, and so I put into Meta AI, and I said, write me a screenplay for this story, and I just gave it a very brief synopsis of a brother going to the Godfather to get permission to get revenge for his death.
Okay.
Is I think what I put.
And AI called it a brother's plea.
A brother's plea. Yes, it gave me a little bit. It didn't give me a lot, but it said I had to it gave me the one section, one scene, and then I had to put continue this screenplay, and it would give me a little bit more, and I could just continue it. I will say this, reading what AI gave me, maybe it's not perfect, but it did give me some ideas on how you could write this story of, I think it would be from let's just read it, and then I'll go into what I feel like AI prompted me and gave me some ideas of what I wanted. So
which Godfather?
Let me make sure I write the right thing.
Okay, so we're gonna read the screenplay, right? That's the whole premise of this.
I really love how this image tried to give everybody Vito Corleone's mouth.
Yes.
With the cotton in it.
Yeah.
Who do you want me to be in this script? Because we have a few characters.
How about Joseph plays the Godfather? Now I'm not giving you. I'm not. Wyatt, you can play the main character Marco, and then I'll just play everybody else.
All right. Am I old world Italian or new world Italian?
Marco is Italian, Marco is the guy asking permission.
He's like a young guy. I feel
so. Yes, a young character,
new world.
A younger Italian man is what I would say.
So new world.
Really quickly, Joseph, can you send the stuff to Wyatt really quickly, because
I've got it.
Well, no, I sent you 2 things. I didn't. There's 3 of them. There's supposed to be 3, and I can't. I think I might have accidentally sent you out of order.
Me all 3. I got 1. I got
2.
Let's see if it breaks. I guess I only have 2.
So
Yeah,
you need
can
the
you just-
third one?
I think I accidentally sent him the first and the third one. I could be wrong about that. I'm trying to figure out what I sent him. I should have done this beforehand and sent Wyatt.
Yeah, bro. What's with
Yeah,
the
but this
lack
is
of
all
preparation?
it's all fun. It's all
We
part
were
of the
talking
process.
about 21 Pilots is why.
Shut up.
I
This is not my
didn't.
fault.
Yeah,
And actually, I think by the very definition, we were not talking about 21 Pilots. We
Yeah,
were talking
we
about you
did.
not wanting me to talk about 21
I
Pilots.
did my very, very best and greatest to avoid talking about it.
Okay, Wyatt, tell me, is this the one that you don't have? I sent you the second one.
Let's see. How does it open?
Let's see here. Logistics. So there's 3 different versions of this, Joshua?
No,
Or is this all the same
3
one?
different scenes.
That's the
It's 3
first
different
scene.
scenes. It's like first scene, second scene, third scene, and it kind of progresses the story.
That's the first scene, Joe. I've got that one.
Okay, well, it looks like Joshua sent me the first scene twice. Okay. All right, so
Not
Joshua's. All right. Okay, so this is the second one. Here's the continuation. Okay. So Wyatt, tell me if
Okay.
this is the one you got.
So it starts out, Marco, Godfather, please avenge my brother's death. That's the first one.
Yes.
That's the first thing anybody says. Then the second one, it comes in, gives us introduction, and then it says, Don Vito. It gives us it says, Don Vito, you've proven yourself, Marco.
Oh my gosh.
You're ready to take on more responsibility.
This is so
okay.
freaking confusing. So what I sent you is not the second one?
That's
Just
the
now?
second one.
Okay, so Brother's Plea, and then the next one I have is here's the continuation, Act 4. And it says Interior, Rival Families Hideout.
So Act 4 is the last one?
Let me just send it. Let me create a group chat and send both of you fools.
I've got all 3. They're just in different parts. So is Act 4 the last section?
Okay, what I'm about to send you is the last thing that I got. All right.
Okay.
This is 1. I just sent it in a group chat.
Yeah, that's
Okay, that's 1.
This is 2. I'm sending just Seth 2. I don't.
This is
mean to.
awesome. I'm definitely editing this out.
I love it. No, leave it in. It must stay in.
This
Okay.
is the stupidest thing to
So
listen to.
that should
Okay.
be in order now.
So there's only 2, not 3.
No, there's 3.
There's 3. 1, 1, 2, 3. Yes, I sent it to the group chat now. So
right.
that's how it should all be in order from 1 to 3.
Okay. But it's only
Okay.
two threads.
It's 3 threads. It's in the group chat now. Go to the one that's Seth, Wyatt, and
All right, I'm on it.
yes, that's what we're gonna do it in order.
Okay, so I'm the Godfather.
And Wyatt is Marco, and I'm gonna play basically everybody else.
all right.
So
Who's
let me
reading
give
the action? Who's reading the action?
I mean, I can. There's a good.
You got to
bit,
read
though.
it with
So,
intrigue. You got to read it with intrigue. All right.
the brothers
So AI
plea.
script. A brother's plea.
Yes.
There we go.
A brother's plea. Maybe you can cut out some of that because we're getting all the logistics. We see a luxurious mansion dimly lit. The Godfather Don Vito sits in a chair, surrounded by his loyal guards. Marco, a young man, enters the room, desperate and determined.
Godfather, please avenge my brother's death. He was murdered by the rival family.
Who was responsible?
Their boss, Victor. He killed my brother in cold blood.
Why should I get involved in this matter?
Because you're the only one who can help me. You're the only one who can make them pay for what they've done.
All right, calm down. I'll take care of it. But remember, revenge comes at a price. Are you prepared to pay it?
I'm prepared to do whatever it takes.
Good. Luca, take care of it.
Luca, a loyal guard, exits the room to carry out the orders.
Cut to.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on.
Rival families hideout night. Luca and his team infiltrate and take out Victor and his men.
Okay.
Cut back to the Godfather's mansion.
Nice.
That was
That's
a much longer scene that had a lot that happened. It was
Right.
just the AI.
There was intrigue, there was build up, there was music
so much that
inflections.
happened.
Right. Okay. All right, kids, keep going.
Marco returns grateful.
Thank you, Godfather. Thank you for avenging my brother's death.
Yes. Remember, Marco, revenge is a never-ending cycle. Be careful what you wish for.
And then it fades to black.
No, you missed it.
You missed.
Wait, what?
You
Oh,
missed
he
it.
says, he says, I understand.
You got to
Yeah.
nod your head, bro. This is a script. I understand.
Gotcha. Sorry.
All right.
I hadn't memorized my lines.
I feel like you're harnessing a little bit of Christopher from The Sopranos with this.
I've never seen The Sopranos.
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
didn't even think to do Tony Soprano.
Hey, let's keep
Dang
going.
it.
Okay.
So hold on, real quick for the audience.
Yeah.
Let's clarify. That was one thing. That was one section that the AI
created,
gave
yes,
Josh, and so he asked for it to continue the
to
script.
continue it because I wanted
and
to
hopefully
see how
get
it
a
would
little
make
bit
the
more.
story.
Also,
Yeah.
that second scene, what seems like fluff, like there should have been a lot more substance there,
Right, and
What,
also,
going to the rival gangs
just
mansion?
to go say thank you.
well,
you.
then
You
he
know what I mean?
says, you're gonna have to prove yourself.
Yeah,
And then he has Luca go and carry it out.
Yeah.
With the assumption, I guess, would be that Marco has to prove himself with something
Mhm.
later on because he had nothing to do with the revenge. Luca went and did it all.
Right.
yeah.
Right. Okay, so this is the next section that
Okay,
Josh will
yes.
continue of the story, right?
The Godfather's mansion. Marco, now a loyal member of the Godfather's organization, sits in the mansion surrounded by the Godfather's guard.
You've proven yourself, Marco. You're ready to take on more responsibility.
Thank you, Godfather. I won't disappoint you.
I know you won't, Luca. I know you won't.
Wait,
Luca.
that's what it says.
Yeah.
I know you won't, Luca.
It says, I know you won't. Luca, take Marco under your wing. Teach him the ways of our organization.
Yes, my Godfather.
You gotta be like, yes, Godfather.
Yes, Godfather. I like that. Yes, Godfather.
All right. Cut to
Marco and Luca move through the city, taking care of the Godfather's business.
just generally. Okay.
Marco to Luca. I'm ready to take on more, Luca. I want to prove myself.
Patience, Marco. You'll get your chance.
Luca, no accent.
And I'll read this part since I'm not in this scene.
Yeah.
Suddenly, a rival gang attacks them. All right.
Marco, drawing his gun. I'll take care of this.
No, go.
No, he saw. No, he.
Marco takes out the rival gang, impressing Luca. He just takes him out.
He just takes it.
He takes them all out
And Luca's
with
impressed.
a 6-shooter.
And then Luca, you're ready, Marco. You're ready to take on the rival family.
And Marco says, I'm ready.
Would say it with voice.
I'm sorry. The dialogue here was written funny. He said, I'm ready.
All right, so there's another continuation, right?
Yeah.
Godfather
So
done?
yeah,
Am I
just
getting back in
read
there?
the narration because I don't think the
All right.
Godfather's in this.
So,
You just
okay.
be the narrator for now.
Fade in. Interior. Rival families hideout. Night. Marco and Luca lead a team of the Godfather's men in a raid on the rival family's hideout.
So to Luca, Marco says, "I'll take care of Victor."
Go.
Marco confronts Victor, the rival boss.
Okay, Joseph, play Victor real quick.
Okay.
I don't think he's a lot. He doesn't have
Here we
a
go.
lot.
Here we go. I gotta get into a new person. I'm gonna try to do the offer guy. All right. You think you can take me down?
Marco, determined. I know I can.
Marco takes out Victor, solidifying the Godfather's power. I just
Cut
came
to
in.
the governor's
You think you
mansion.
would take me down? Yes. Pop. Marco
Cut
takes him
to
down.
the
Cut to
Godfather's mansion.
mansion. The Godfather sits in his chair, surrounded by his loyal guards. Marco enters victorious. All right. Here we go. Well done. Wait, hold on. I'm losing it. Well done, Marco. You've proven yourself yet again.
Thank you, Godfather. I'll always be loyal to you.
I know you will, Marco. You're like a son to me. And that's it. Fades to black. I had to spice it up there because they just repeated a few of the Godfather's lines. So I had to add in the yet again because there wasn't.
Yeah,
there
but it's a
wasn't that there.
screenplay. You can do that. You can kind of give your flair to it.
So I would say that the
This is poor. This is poor.
It loses it after you ask it to do more stuff. It's like it has Luca be like, "I think you're ready," and he says, "I'm ready."
Yeah,
Right.
It's very
he
plain.
says, like,
It loses a little bit of the dialogue. However, I will say that as far as setting up like a scene, you know, it does the bare minimum for giving characters their turn.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a back and forth, and then it says, and then something happens, right? Which is what you want. You want there to be back and forth between characters, a little bit of a dialogue, and then you want the action. And I'm not talking about shoot 'em up action. I'm talking about the action of the scene.
It's like
capitalize on the previous dialogue.
If you're gonna build bare bones, which typically if you're building the bare bones of a story, then you don't include the dialogue right away, right? You typically are outlining and creating the skeleton of your story, so you're following the first, third, and second acts, and you're following the movement of the story.
It did give me that too, and I sent that to you, Joseph. That was one of the things I sent you. We didn't really go through that,
but the point of that is that this doesn't feel like a screenplay. This feels like an outline.
Yeah, it definitely
dialogue.
feels like so.
You know
so,
what I mean?
like for example, when it says, you know, he's like, I'm going to take care of Victor. And then he has Victor. It says he gets Victor, right? It's like he has Victor now in his clutches. And Victor's like, you don't have the balls. And he's like, I do have the balls.
The only thing that makes us feel like a screenplay.
He kills Victor, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying is there's a dialogue and then there is an action taken.
Sure.
Based on the previous dialogue, which is that's your basic outline. It feels like
I was going to say the only thing that makes us feel like a screenplay is at the beginning of a scene they have interior rival families hideout night. You know what I mean? So that's the only thing that makes it feel like a screenplay and the back and forth dialogue. But that's it.
I would say I'd be very interested to see what some other. What like ChatGPT or what the Bing one how they would write this story. I because we've already I think established that meta is fairly repetitive. It seems like it's still essentially building what it
feels
wants.
like it's an infant.
Yeah, it feels like an infant. It still feels like it's still building kind of its informational system,
Right.
and almost
I will
using Facebook to do that.
I
Right.
will say though, so I originally the idea was like, oh, this guy, it shows him, he goes to the Godfather and asks for permission and then so forth. But it did spark a thought of what if we almost did it, the story became almost like the first Godfather. It's, you see the progression, the downfall of Michael. At the beginning of the first one, he doesn't want to be the Godfather and he goes off to war, so he's not close to his family. And then he kind of gets pulled back in and ultimately becomes the Godfather because it's just one step after the next. I think when this script, it sparked an idea of like, now he's a loyal servant of the Godfather. It says that in the second portion, beginning. And it's almost like, what if we told a story like that, where this guy is the muscle and like he's killing people left and right for the Godfather. And then it's like a flashback and it shows him, he was just a young guy who wanted revenge for his brother. But then he got lost in everything the Godfather wanted him to do because he just wanted to avenge his brother.
I'll
Kind
say
of the Godfather story.
I'll say
except
that lots of gang stories kind of start. A lot of gang stories have that sort of narrative where you have a character who just really just sort of needs something. They go to the gang. They essentially end up joining the gang, and then it becomes like you said, it's one step after another. If either of you, I don't know, did either of you watch The Gentleman?
Yeah, the show,
TV
on
show?
Netflix. Yeah,
That's essentially how it starts. He
yeah,
goes back home. He kind of has to take steps to get rid of this element, this criminal element involved with his family, and then it's one step after another until he sort of starts getting more and more involved in the gang. And yeah, it's a great storytelling element. And it's definitely interesting that the AI sort of picked up on, in the most rudimentary way, the way that would work is like, yes, if you're killing somebody for the Godfather, naturally you're now, kind of part of, you're one of his men.
Joshua, since this was a scene that was you kind of envisioned in your head a little bit, how you think? I'm assuming it didn't do justice by you.
I see a cat in the background. That's funny.
Okay, well, I'll stroke it like the Godfather.
No, not so much. It's just, it gave us basic dialogue and it sparked an idea of how you can write your story, of how I was saying, like the downfall and like him being like the muscle for the Godfather. But then you do a flashback and it's like, oh, he didn't want to do that. He just kind of got roped into it because he wanted to get revenge for his brother. That sparked an
he
idea.
roped me into this.
He roped me into this.
That just like sparks an idea of, I wouldn't say use the AI to write your scripts or all this, but maybe it's good at sparking ideas of how you want to write this story.
Just see just imagine these guys pointing at each other. He roped me into this. He roped me into
whole
this.
High level Godfather-esque gang of guys, but it's all built on he roped me into this. Well, that one roped me into this. It's somehow built up into this organization
of Mr. Meeseeks,
of guys just getting roped in.
Of Mafia Meeseeks, yeah.
Mafia Meeseeks.
Meeseeks, that's funny.
It's definitely really kind of a fun way to keep testing AI.
Yeah.
Keep testing if it has the chops. I don't know that meta's there yet. I would like to test one. Yeah, we'll definitely test another one and see how they write something similar.
Right. Thank you guys. for being. Can I try one more time to just tell you about 21 Pilots?
I think we ought to end
fading
it.
out.
I think
just end it. Let's just cut it off at its legs and let it die. Hey, we passed 1 million views on our studio channel.
Pretty awesome.
Is that cool? 1 million views on this channel.
A million views.
Impressive.
That's a big deal, fellas. 1 million click yeses. That's a big deal. Now, once they started the video, a lot of them aren't yeses, but yes initials, right?
Mm-hmm.
They clicked in. They wanted to see what was going on.
We'll take it.
I'll take it happily. Thank you.
Yeah.